I first met Keith when he came over to Waipahu High School, I want to say in the late 90s. And he came over as a very enthusiastic vice principal, ready to go. He was just a real breath of fresh air. And he always had an open door policy. And he would always say, just come, talk to me. Yeah, what you got? What ideas you have?
You know, Keith was always supportive. He would walk alongside you. He kind of empowered us to be a leader and to take risks and to want to do good, you know, for the school. Because we knew that we weren't going to be alone in the journey. We knew that we would always have his support.
I would say that he's extremely approachable from day one to even now, and then visionary. Like this guy, we see micro, he sees macro. I mean, he just sees the big picture.
Well, I think inspirational comes to mind. He just motivates you to want to do more for kids. Integrity is another. Despite all the many challenges that you'll face, he'll always make the right decision with kids in mind.
When we talk as a family, it's always about doing what's right, especially in challenging times. He always says, smother them with kindness, or kill them with kindness. I think he's very passionate too, though. And I think that's why he's so self-sacrificing. He wants students and others to be passionate about what they do in life. He wants them to love what they do and feel good about what they do. I think that's why a lot of things have rolled out the way it has at Waipahu.
And one of the things that he was striving for here at the high school was expanding the learnings beyond the four walls of the classroom. And he was unafraid to do that. And his approach to that was through our academy system.
And it wasn't about getting that model recognition, but it was about doing what's best for kids.
Maybe he wasn't necessarily always on campus, but you knew that he was working for the school, you know, building partnerships, meeting with community members, meeting with legislators, just trying to do whatever he could in his power to do for our school. Oftentimes, when I would say that I teach at Waipahu High School, first comment would be like, wow, you guys are doing some good things over there, or here you know, now you've got this or that. Oh, it's not like how Waipahu used to be, you know, and I think that ultimately was because of Mr. Hayashi. Obviously because of the teachers, but because of Mr. Hayashi's vision and what he did while he was principal.
One thing I really admire about Keith is that he just has a lot of humility. Clearly he had vision and put in the work, but he always recognizes that he's building off of what came before. So when Keith talks about the success that Waipahu High School has had, he always talks about the people that came before him that laid a foundation. Other people will ask, how can we make every school like Waipahu High School? And he said, it's not about making every school like Waipahu High School. He said, everybody has to do it their own way, even though we can be aiming towards a similar vision of what it would mean for students.
I've gone through several superintendents and all wonderful people. And I thought, Keith Hayashi, before he leaves the DOE, needs to be a superintendent because he's been through every stage of the educational system. He has been that same authentic, approachable guy with big ideas. He makes us feel important. And he did that as a VP, he did that as the principal. He continues to do that at the superintendent, you know, the highest level.
Being the state superintendent, he is faced with immense challenges. He holds on to his values, but he solicits input from the community to get their take in what is important.
He has a lot of courage. I mean, in this current role, he's been faced with the pandemic. And then now the wildfire in Maui. He's a great listener, and he is self-sacrificing in a way that he works so hard.
It's why people view Keith as their leader. He has a vision for what public education can do for the individuals, for their families, for the community.
For as long as I've known Keith, he's been in the role of leadership. When he decided to possibly take the role of superintendent, it was a family commitment. So not just myself, but the girls and I had to also embrace the role of leaders and how whatever choices that we make not only impact ourselves, but the family and the whole community. I think though that's what unified us as a family.
My mahalo nui for just being such a great mentor to me personally. I think that I may have retired a while ago if had it been for like a Keith Hayashi.
Keith, you are a beacon of kindness, strength, and wisdom. Your guidance inspires us, and your relationship enriches us. Here's to you, Keith, a remarkable individual that is deserving of all honor. Here's to your unwavering spirit for the positive impact you have had on our lives.
Just thank you, for making me who I am today. I really was very fortunate to have him as a principal while I was here.
I think I just want to say thank you. Thank you for believing in the kids, and as superintendent now, it was really hard for us to let him go, so to speak, but we knew what was best for Hawaii and Hawaii students. Here he impacted 2,800 kids, but across the state now he's impacting so many more.
I would like to tell Keith to continue to stay grounded in his beliefs and his values. I also want him to know that he is our hero, but he is not a superhero. So that in all of this, to take care of himself, and that we are very proud of him.